Olá, pessoal. Boa tarde a todos. Sejam muito bem-vindos a este webinar por dentro da experiência de um MBA nos Estados Unidos com a Illinois Tech. Meu nome é Júlia e eu sou advisor do EducationUSA aqui na Universidade Presbiteriana Mackenzie, em São Paulo. Este webinar está sendo gravado e depois vamos disponibilizar no nosso canal no YouTube do EducationUSA Brasil. Também terá um momento para perguntas ao final do webinar, mas vocês também podem ir escrevendo no chat. Pode ser tanto em inglês ou em português, que a gente vai traduzir. Então, deixo agora a palavra com a Marina.
Olá, boa tarde a todos, ou boa noite já, né? É um prazer estar aqui com vocês. Meu nome é Marina Passos. Eu atuo na equipe de International Enrollment Management, então parcerias, recrutamento internacional e admissões na Illinois Institute of Technology ou Illinois Tech. E não sei se todos conhecem a Illinois Tech, mas é uma universidade privada de pesquisa. A gente está localizada em Chicago, apesar de que eu estou no Brasil, mas nós estamos localizados em Chicago, que é uma das principais capitais americanas, né? De inovação, negócios. Então, a universidade vai oferecer uma experiência muito conectada ao mercado de trabalho. Como o próprio nome diz, né, que é um instituto de tecnologia, então a gente tem um aprendizado muito focado em tecnologia e inovação, aprendizagem prática também, e a gente tem muito foco em desenvolvimento de carreiras, né? Então, hoje, eu e a minha colega Claire Johnson, que eu vou apresentar ela em inglês já já também, a gente está aqui para conversar um pouco com vocês sobre ter essa experiência de um MBA nos Estados Unidos. Então, o nosso objetivo principal é compartilhar de forma bem prática e transparente como funciona o MBA nos Estados Unidos, desde a estrutura acadêmica, a experiência em sala de aula, até as oportunidades que vocês vão ter nos Estados Unidos, né, como desenvolvimento profissional e carreira internacional também. Durante a apresentação da Claire, se vocês tiverem perguntas, como a Júlia falou, vocês podem colocar no chat, que eu vou responder as suas perguntas aos poucos também, tá? E no final da apresentação, a Claire também pode responder diretamente algumas perguntas. All right, so without further ado, Claire, I'm sorry that we were speaking in Portuguese at this point, just to give a brief introduction about Illinois Tech. But now I would like to introduce Claire. She's my colleague at Illinois Tech Grad Admissions, and she is based in Chicago. So thank you so much, Claire, for joining us today. It is a pleasure to have you here with us. And I was just telling students, if they have questions, they can post it on the chat, and I will respond to them during your presentation. And yeah, so I just kindly ask that everyone mutes themselves. So Claire is the only one with the microphone on. All right, so thank you, Claire, and the floor is yours, please.
Thank you, Marina. Thank you, Education USA, for having us here. I'm going to share my screen and get us going. And my apologies for not speaking Portuguese. Maybe one day I'll learn. Okay, there we go. My computer's being nice and slow today. All right. Hopefully everyone can see that. Well, thank you again, everyone.
It's still loading. Yeah, we can see it now.
Okay, perfect. Thank you again, everyone, for joining. As Marina said, if you do have questions, please feel free to include them in the chat, and we'll either address them during the presentation or at the end. I am with Illinois Institute of Technology, as Marina also said, and today we're going to be focusing specifically on one college within Illinois Tech, which are Stewart School of Business and business program opportunities that they can offer. So today will be a deep dive into the Business School 101 and how to navigate your business school journey. So we'll be talking about, things to think about when you're making that decision about choosing a business program, how to build a strong application, all the way up into things to best support yourself once you're in a program. And then we will end with some specific information about the Stewart School of Business and Illinois Tech in particular. As you already know, my name is Claire. I'm a Senior Director of Graduate Admissions at the university. I had previously been with Stewart and just recently switched to a different role, but I still have a pretty strong level of expertise in Stewart, so I'm excited to be able to talk more about our business programs today. As I said, we'll be starting more generally with some content about why business school, common mistakes to avoid, some tips on picking your program, tips to build a strong application, and then we'll round things off with some specific details about the Stewart School, and then end with Q&A. So kind of first and foremost, and before you really even begin filling out an application or doing a ton of research, is deciding on what's your why. And that really gets down to the core of what are you passionate about? Why do you want to get a graduate level degree in business? What are your future career goals? Why is this an important step for you? And the answer is going to be different for everybody. There's no one set why. There's no right answer. There's no wrong answer. It's all about what is the motivating factor for you. And you might be thinking, why is this important? Why do I need to have that why? And it's key to determine why this is a important process for you, because once you get into a graduate program, a business program, any program at the master's level or beyond, it's going to be a lot of work. And if you're going to school in another country, there's going to be that difficult transition of kind of learning to live in a new society and building new friendships, making new connections. So you've got to be really, really passionate about this so that when the going gets tough, as they say, you're ready to handle it and you have a strong motivating reason to be there and to see it through to the finish. If you're kind of wishy-washy or just not totally certain why you want to pursue this path, then maybe it's a good idea to wait a little bit until you know for certain what you are truly passionate about, what really motivates you. And then from there, you can choose the right program to meet those needs. And once you're in that program, you can have the strong desire to see it through and to finish and to work hard. So that's why I always tell students, start off right at the beginning with the simple kind of self-reflection about what's your why, what are your goals, what's most important to you, and that can help you narrow down the programs to apply to, but then also help to keep you motivated once you are in your studies. As you're thinking about that why, there's some common reasons that might be relevant for you and are often relevant for many students who are considering graduate school. And so a couple of these are listed here on the screen. These are certainly not all of them, but they are often the motivating factors for why someone decides to go down this path. Number one is earn more money. All of us, especially in this day and age where costs are rising, we're all about how can we increase our earning potential. And one way to do that is to get a higher level degree and to further your education, because having more skills, having more knowledge will open up more higher paying opportunities potentially. Another reason is to earn a terminal degree. So oftentimes students will get a degree for their bachelor's in something like biology or maybe philosophy, and those degrees are great, but they don't often lead to a clear-cut career, and they require further education, so a master's degree, maybe even a PhD, to be able to get into a set career path. So for our students who are in that boat and who need more education to be able to find career opportunities, going to graduate school, going to business school is a great choice to put that cherry on top of the undergraduate degree they already have. Another consideration is getting promotion at work. So maybe you're in a job or a field that you really love. You aren't necessarily looking to change to a different company or change to a different industry, but you want to move up quicker in your current career path. And getting a business master's degree is one way to do that. Employers often will require that you have a master's degree to be eligible for certain promotions and to move into high level positions. So that's another great reason to perhaps add to your repertoire for going to grad school. Another common reason is personal development. So perhaps you just love to learn and you always want to be building your skills and learning new things, and getting a master's degree is certainly going to achieve that. So maybe you're not necessarily career motivated, but you just want to develop personally, and getting a degree in business can certainly help with that. And then related to some of the other ones we talked about, so promotion and earning more money, more career opportunities and better career opportunities. So again, having a higher level degree in business or in any field is going to open you up for more career opportunities that will likely pay more, will likely be higher level roles. And for those looking to achieve those goals, then grad school is a great choice. So certainly these are not all the reasons to go to graduate school or business school specifically in our case, but certainly some top considerations that may resonate with you and help you to build that why and build your repertoire of motivating reasons to stay committed to getting a higher level degree. Now, some things to avoid as you start preparing for and applying for business school, as well as once you're in school. Starting at the top, as you're preparing and applying to business school, don't make the mistake of applying to only one school. Now, the opposite end of it is applying to 20 schools. That's also a mistake. You want to apply to a few different options so that in case you don't get into your top choice, you still have some others to choose from. But you certainly shouldn't be applying to anything and everything. You do want to narrow it down. So the sweet spot is 2 to 3 programs that you are interested in or business schools that you're interested in. And then that way you're able to give equal effort to completing the applications for each of those business schools. You're not spreading yourself too thin, trying to apply to too many schools, but at the same time, you're giving yourself different options depending on where you might be admitted, and then ultimately what could be the best fit. So don't apply to just one school, but also don't apply to 20 schools. Another mistake to avoid is waiting for the perfect time. So if you're always telling yourself like, oh, next year will be, better, will fit better in my schedule, or, the year after, or next month, if you're always telling yourself that, then likely it's never going to happen. And if this is something you're truly passionate about, that you truly want to do, you just got to go for it. Because there's a lot going on in life and there's always going to be reasons to push it off. But if it's something you want to achieve, if you start working on it now, then in a year to 2 years, you'll have that degree and you'll be moving on to bigger and better things. So, don't always be waiting for what will seem to be the perfect time, because there will never be a perfect time. Another mistake to avoid, which you're not making this mistake by being in this session, but that's not speaking with admissions and faculty. So you're missing out on a lot of key information if you never make an advising appointment with admissions or never meet with a faculty member to learn more about the program or learn more about the application process and the requirements. You're obviously attending this session and you're hearing from me in admissions as well as Marina in admissions. So you can check this one off. You're not making this mistake, but do this for every school you're thinking about. Because you can find out some key information that may not be on the website and may not be available elsewhere that will really help you in your decision-making process of where to apply, as well as what school to choose. Relatedly, another mistake to avoid is not speaking with current students or alumni. This can help you receive a different insight and understanding into a program, because current students and alum are going to be able to give you that firsthand look into what it's actually like to be a student in that program, and that's the key information to know if it's going to be a good fit. So we always recommend connecting with a current student. Marina and I are happy to do that along with the others on our admission team. If you reach out to us and request to meet with the current student, we can find someone who's open to either answering questions via email or meeting with you over Zoom. And our current students are often very happy to do that because they know what it's like. They've been in your shoes and had similar questions. Same thing with alumni. They can also give you some great insights into what it was like to be a student in the program. So don't make that mistake. Definitely consider meeting with students or alum. And then the other mistake is not attending an event, which again, you can check this off because you're here with us today. But it's a great idea to attend virtual events, in-person events if possible, to again, get to know the admission staff, get to know students who often may be presenting during these events. If you're able to visit campus and sit in on a class or take a tour, those are great ways to also get a strong sense of, is this going to be a good fit for you? Do you feel like you're part of the community? Do you feel like you belong? And you'll get more information than what you might be able to find by reading the website. So take all of these for what it's worth, and utilize what's useful for you. But I do highly recommend, as much as you can, having conversations with admissions, faculty, current students, and then attending any and all events as you're going about preparing for and applying to business school. Now, moving on to kind of that next step in the process, you've chosen business school, you've enrolled, and now you're taking classes, and you're there on campus and having a great time, hopefully. But there's some mistakes to avoid at this point as well, and one of which is forgetting about your mental and physical health. Especially at the beginning, when everything is new and exciting and you're getting used to classes, you're meeting new people, it can be very easy to forget to take care of yourself and, sleep enough, get good meals in, go and, just talk to the Student Health and Wellness Center to get to know them a little bit better and understand their resources in case you need it. Because your health is important. And if you're not feeling mentally or physically well, it'll be hard to do well in the classes and to be successful there. So don't forget to take care of yourself mentally and physically. There are plenty of resources for that at Illinois Tech. We have a Student Health and Wellness Center, as I just mentioned, and they are there on campus, happy to meet with students. They don't charge extra costs, so don't be afraid to go to them for that reason. It's part of the fees and tuitions that you pay to the university, so take advantage of those resources. Another mistake is feeling like an imposter. So I can say from my perspective of being in the business school at Stewart, we have students from all sorts of backgrounds all around the world, all different levels of work experience, all different types of academic backgrounds. And sometimes they feel like, oh, am I really meant to be here? I don't have any work experience, or I've never studied business before. And we always tell students, like, no, if we admitted you, if you're here with us, you were meant to be here. And so don't feel like you're not fitting in if you don't have a certain level of experience or haven't taken any marketing classes before, any finance classes. Because the reality is there's probably a lot of other students right there with you in the classroom who are in the same boat and aren't highly skilled in business yet. And I mean, that's why you're here, to get a degree, to learn. So never feel like you're not fitting in. The next one is similar to the first point I made, which is don't forget about campus resources. So whether that's Student Health and Wellness Center or our Office of Global Services for I-20 and visa support, or the student accounting team if you have questions about your billing or joining student clubs and orgs. There's so many resources for you on campus to answer whatever questions you might have. So don't forget to utilize those and meet with them virtually or visit them at their campus location in person. And that will help you to avoid running into any issues or feeling not part of the community. So take advantage of those resources. Another mistake to avoid is ignoring any networking opportunities, career fairs, internship support, because this is really the maybe equal in terms of getting your degree is thinking about your future career opportunities, because grad school goes fast. You're only in a program for 2 years approximately, which may sound like a lot at the beginning, but it's going to go so quickly. And then all of a sudden it's your last semester and you're like, wait a second, I haven't even gone to a career fair yet, or I haven't done an internship. What do I do now? I need a job and I'm going to graduate soon. So really right from day one, when you get to campus, start exploring different career programming and opportunities. At the Stewart School of Business, we have a career management center that provides one-on-one advising support on your resume, your interviewing skills, your career goals. They also host 1 to 2 times a week, usually, at different types of events with companies, where we'll have companies presenting to our students about career opportunities with them. We do site visits to bring students to companies in Chicago, and a wide variety of other types of events. And we really encourage students to participate in all of those because it will help set them up for much greater success when they're looking for an internship and job. And starting early will ensure that you're not getting to that last semester and realizing you have nothing ready to go, and we don't want our students to be in that boat. So don't forget to think about your future career. And then finally, don't make the mistake of trying to go through the program too fast. Now, I realize you want to get in, get your degree, and then move on to that next stage of life. But if you try and jam pack everything in and move too quickly to graduate as fast as possible, you're not going to have as much time to go to career fairs or career events or join other student clubs and orgs and meet other students on campus. And all of that is an important part of your experience as a student. Not to mention that it's great for networking. Knowing more students on campus, knowing faculty and staff, that can lead to a lot of great career opportunities or other opportunities outside of career that if you try to expedite your time in the program, you may miss out on. And we don't want you to look back again in your last semester and be like, shoot, I didn't do this or I didn't do that, and now I'm out of time. So while we don't want you to be in school for 5, 6, 7 years to get your degree, we also don't want you to go through so quickly that you can't enjoy the process and get the most out of it. So those are some common mistakes that hopefully you will keep in mind and avoid as you're going through the process of applying, and then also remembering once you're in your program. Now, kind of going back to that decision-making process, many students often want to know, what program is going to be right for me? And the reality is it's going to depend on what your criteria are. And I've listed here some criteria that are typically important for students when they're choosing a business school or business program. This certainly may not be all criteria that could be important for you, but certainly ones to keep in mind. The first one there is career alignment. So choose a business school and choose a program that is aligned with your future career goals. And again, if you've done that self-reflection about what's your why, you should have a good sense of what your career goal is. You may not 100% know for certain, or you might have a few different things you're thinking about, but you should at least have considered it and then select a business school or program that will help you to reach that career goal. Don't choose to go into a master's in nursing if your career goal is to be the chief marketing officer at Google, because the nursing program is not going to help get you into that type of career. So it's kind of a dumb example, but it helps you to show how important it is to choose the right program to help you reach the goal that you are excited about. Another criteria that can help you narrow down your choice is program delivery and enrollment options. So if you want to have a fully on-person, in-campus experience and be a full-time student, make sure you're choosing a program that allows that. Or vice versa. Maybe you want to be fully online, you want to stay at home, you don't necessarily want to, come to another city or another country to study. Well, it's important to find a program that offers that option. So just think about the delivery enrollment options that are going to best fit your needs. The next two kind of go together, and that's specializations and experiential learning. So at the Stewart School of Business, a few of our programs offer different specializations to allow you to go more deeply into a certain area. And all programs include experiential learning. And so if these things are important to you, if you want to be able to specialize, if you want to be able to really hone in your skills with experiential learning opportunities in the classroom, then it's important to read through the curriculums of the programs you're thinking about and determining if that will be an option for you if you pursue that program. As I said, at Stewart, all of our programs include a high level of experiential learning, but not all of our programs have specializations. So again, this is why that research is going to be key to ensure you're selecting the right program. The next one is program outcomes and alumni success. So going back to that career alignment criteria, you want to make sure that you are choosing a program that leads to the outcomes career-wise that are going to be a best fit for you. And one way to determine this is often on websites, it will say, these are the types of careers our alumni have gone into. And we often feature alumni at Stewart School of Business on our website to showcase the different types of success and outcomes that these programs help you to reach. Additionally, if you're meeting with an alum from a program, then hearing their story and finding out what type of career they've gone into can help you to see, okay, is that the type of career I want to go into? Well, then that might be a good program, or vice versa, maybe it's not. So take a moment to dive into the outcomes that this program leads to ensure it will be a good fit. The costs, this is also a key factor. There's a wide range of different tuition and fee costs across business schools within the United States, and even within business schools across different programs. So ensure you are figuring out what each cost is going to be, the tuition and the fee costs, and how that will fit in your personal budget, if it's going to be feasible for you, if it's not. And that is typically a very important criteria for determining the right fit. Similarly to scholarships or to costs, what scholarships are available, because every business school and every program will have different levels of scholarship. Some may have full tuition scholarships available, others may not award any scholarships. So it's just a matter of doing that research and finding out what you can utilize. And then finally, personal fit. You want to make sure that the school you're choosing is in an environment and a community that you'll feel at home in. So, if we're thinking about Stewart School of Business in Illinois Tech in Chicago, we're in a big city. It's an urban environment. There's a lot going on. It can be loud, it can be crowded, but there's great restaurants. There's all sorts of museums. There's so much to explore. So you want to make sure that that's the type of environment you'll enjoy and feel at home in. Because for some people, they may prefer a more rural environment, something a little less crowded, a little less busy, whereas others, they love being in a city and they want to be in a big city. So you got to think about that personal fit too, and where you'll feel most at home. So once you've determined your criteria, then a good place to start when you're comparing and contrasting programs is these online resources that we have listed here, GMAT, QS, and Access MBA. These are external organizations that host virtual and in-person MBA fairs, as well as grad school fairs. And they also have websites where you can compare and contrast different business schools and different programs. So I recommend looking through their websites, attending some of their events, either virtually or in person, and this will connect you with a lot of different business schools and many different programs. So you can start figuring out, what's going to be a good choice for you to apply to. Okay, so now you're at that point where you determined your why and what's important to you. You've determined your criteria and then selected the programs and the schools you want to apply to. And you're at that point of building out your application. And of course, everyone wants to make it as strong as possible. So I've included here some tips to keep in mind. These are certainly not all of the ways to build a strong application, but some that I notice students may forget and can go a long way to making your application strong. So the first point there relates to your personal statement. So for most business schools, you'll need to write a one-page essay talking about why you're applying to that school, talking about yourself and your interests. And this is where that process of determining your why comes in. Because if you know your why already and what's important to you, why you chose this school, why you want to go to school now versus later, then you can talk about that in your personal statement. And we want to know this information. We want to know the authentic you and what's genuinely important for you and your decision making. So if you've already taken the time to think about your why, then it's just a matter of putting it on paper in your personal statement. And this will really stand out to us when we're reviewing your application, because we appreciate it when a student has really taken the time to think about how this is a good choice for them and how they're so excited about studying with us and in our program. And then also important point to include when writing your personal statement is do your research. So read through our programs on the website, learn about the university, learn about the business school, and this will help you to write a stronger personal statement because you can tie in, things you learned about the business school, such as you can say, I'm really excited about studying at Stewart because I learned in an info session that you have experiential learning in all of your programs, and I really want to be able to use my knowledge in a relevant real world way. And that's the type of thing we love to see in a personal statement, is that you've taken the time to learn specifically about our programs in the curriculum and highlighted what things are most exciting to you about studying with us. Next point here is the resume. So for business schools, it's quite common to require a resume. And this is something that I don't recommend putting together at the last minute and just, feeding into ChatGPT and having them spit something out. You could certainly use a template to start with, but make sure you're working through that resume and showing us how your career path aligns with the program you're going into. We want to see your achievements thus far. We're not expecting you to have tons of work experience or leadership experience even, but we want to know what you have done in your career, whether that's internships, full-time jobs. If you're a current undergraduate student now and you've been involved in clubs and boards, we want to see that. So make sure to include all relevant experiences in chronological order and showcase to us what experience you've gained so far. And again, don't just use ChatGPT to write this. You can certainly start with some sort of template along those lines, but make sure you tailor it to your specific background and skills. And then this next point is letters of recommendation, which may or may not be required. We don't require letters of recommendation for our master's programs at Stewart, but some universities do. So just keep that in mind, that you may need to provide letters of recommendation, and you should be very wise in who you choose as your recommenders. Don't choose a friend or a family member. Make sure you're choosing either academic recommenders, so professors, or professional recommenders, such as a coworker or a supervisor. And those either academic or professional recommenders should be people that you have a fairly strong relationship with, because we want, when we're reading these letters, we want to get a different insight about you. And if the person who's writing the letter doesn't know you that well, they're probably not going to have much to say to give us a true in-depth analysis of who you are. So be picky in who's writing the recommenders. Choose people that can really speak to your strengths, whether in the classroom or in a professional work setting. The final 2 points here are proofread. So take a moment to read through your application after you finish it, and just make sure you're not making any unnecessary mistakes or missing any important information. Have a friend read through things, or a family member, and give you feedback. And this is also why we say to start the process earlier rather than later, so you can leave yourself enough time before the deadline to proofread. And then finally, review the curriculum of the program you're applying to. I can't tell you how many times students will show up for the first day of classes and they had no idea what they'd be studying. And that's not the outcome we want. We want you to have a pretty strong sense of what you're getting yourself into before you arrive. And again, by understanding the curriculum and the program you're going to be applying to and studying in, it will help you to build a stronger application. So do your research, review the curriculum, understand the program, the business school, and the university, and that will go a long way to ensuring you're writing a strong application, but also choosing the right program for you. Okay, now we'll dive into some specific information about Stewart School of Business. And the first thing I always like to highlight is that Stewart is the only business school at a tech-focused university in Chicago. So Chicago is home to so many amazing business schools, so many amazing universities. But if you're the type of person who's looking for a program that will allow you to develop both your business skills and your technical skills, Stewart's really the only business school who can offer that in Chicago. You know, we are able to incorporate a heavier emphasis on technical analytical skills into our business programs compared to other business schools. And that type of skill set is really important right now in this day and age where AI is everywhere, technology develops so quickly, and to be competitive in the job market, you need to be fluent in not only your business skills, but also your technical and analytical skills. And that's what we provide to you at Stewart School of Business in our business programs. We like to use the tagline, bridging business and technology within our programs at Stewart. And by being able to do this, we prepare you for future careers as well as current careers that are technology and data focused. Again, it's so important to be well-versed in analytics, technical type background and skills, and be able to pair that with a strategic business mindset in order to be competitive in the job market these days. And that's only going to become even more the case as technology continues to develop. Another great aspect of studying at Stewart is that we are accredited by the AACSB. This is the most widely recognized international accreditation organization for business schools. It is a worldwide accreditation, and we have to maintain very strict criteria regarding faculty teaching, research, curriculum content, career outcomes, in order to maintain this accreditation. So when a potential future employer sees that you've graduated from an AACSB accredited program, they'll know that you've gotten a top level education, because we have to have a top level education to maintain this accreditation. In terms of the academic programs we offer, we have a few different options in MBA. So within Master of Business Administration, we have a standard MBA program, a fully online MBA program that is offered through Coursera. And then our one STEM designated MBA is the MBA in Business Analytics, which is still a regular MBA curriculum, but with a heavier emphasis in business analytics. Outside of our MBA programs, we have some specialized business masters in finance, marketing analytics, project management, public administration, sustainability analytics and management, and business analytics. We're also in the process of, it may be fully approved now, a financial markets and technology program, as well as a Master of Management and Leadership program. Most of our programs, as you can see, are STEM designated, outside of just a couple of them. And this is important for those looking to take advantage of the OPT extension after graduation. And then we do have 2 PhD programs as well, though they are on pause for fall 2026. We're hoping to relaunch them again in fall 2027. So there's a wide variety to pursue with us at Stewart. If you're looking for that standard MBA program, or if you're looking to be a bit more specialized and dive really deeply into something like finance, marketing, or business analytics. In terms of student success and career outcomes, at the business school, we do have a dedicated academic advising team, and you'll have your own academic advisor that works with you throughout your entirety of the program to help you customize the program to your interests and goals. They help to ensure you're staying on track and taking the right classes, so you graduate on time. You can meet with them individually or for group advising sessions. And outside of helping you with course advising and registration, you can also meet with them to discuss study skills, how to manage stress, and then they can also connect you with other campus resources in case they are not the right group to answer your question, but they can refer you to the right group on campus. So we recommend our students to meet with our academic advisors regularly. That you are required to meet with them at least once a semester before registration opens, but as often as you want is highly recommended, so that you stay on track and make the most of your journey through our programs. I alluded to our Career Management Center earlier, so I'll circle back to that to highlight some of the things that they offer our students. Every week there's something going on. So whether that's a career search event or a job fair or one of our career pathway presentations with employers, there's always some type of programming going on to support our students in their internship and career search. They'll also host workshops to work on your resume, cover letter, LinkedIn profile, interviewing skills. And then of course you can meet one-on-one with our career counseling team to discuss your individual needs and interests. So it's, again, very highly recommended to utilize these resources, and the students that do attend these events and do meet with our career team tend to do better in the internship and job search versus those that don't really utilize these resources. So they're there for our students, and it's best to go as often as you're able to. Here's some examples of some of the events that we hosted last spring. We don't have events in the summer just because most of our students are not studying in the summer, but we'll start things back up again in September. But you can see there's a wide variety of different types of presentations going on, career fairs. There were site visits as well as competitions. So all sorts of different fun things to participate in. And then next to that, I have a photo of the What's Next newsletter. This gets sent to students every Sunday to let them know what types of events are happening that week, and then they can add it to their calendar. In terms of placement, this data is from a couple years ago, but it tends to be around 93 to 98% career placement within 6 months after graduation. And then our mean starting salary was around 110,000, as you see, but that can range depending on what program someone graduated from and the types of industries they're going into. I believe the range last year was around 65, 70,000 up to 120, 125,000. Again, it's just going to depend on someone's previous work experience, the types of jobs they're looking for, and kind of all those factors there. But that's to give you a sense of where our students end up after graduation. And then here's some of the companies that have hired our students for internships and jobs. Certainly not all of them, but just ones that we do work closely with here in Chicago, but then across the US. Now, hopefully you're excited to apply to us after all of this information, and it's a very straightforward process. We use an online application for admission. There is an application fee that is typically required, but if you meet with one of our advisors during a one-on-one appointment, or you attend one of our virtual information sessions, you can have that fee waived. So save yourself some money by doing that step. And then along with that online application, we do require some documents, including official transcripts and diploma for all previous degrees that you've received or are in the process of receiving. We need a one-page resume and a one-page statement of purpose. And then we also need English proficiency scores. We accept TOEFL, IELTS, or Duolingo. So you can select either of those options, and that'll be totally fine for us. If you're applying to a master's program at Stewart, you are not required to submit GRE or GMAT test scores, nor are you required to submit letters of recommendation. But if you are interested in one of our PhD programs, it is required to submit GRE or GMAT scores and 3 to 4 letters of recommendation. So there's just a couple extra steps and requirements if you're applying to a PhD, but if you're applying to a master's, no need to submit GRE or GMAT scores or letters of recommendation, although you are certainly welcome to if you would like to. Okay, I know that was a lot of information and quite quickly. So take a photo of these email addresses here to get in touch with us if questions come up later. But I'm also happy to take questions now in our last, 14 minutes or so. I see a hand raised, so go ahead, Marissa.
Hello, Claire. Nice meeting you. I'm Marissa. I'm an EducationUSA advisor based in São Paulo. So I already know Marina, and thanks for doing this to us. So as far as I know, like MBA is more related for work. But I have like advisees that they want to do like masters of finance, for instance. And it's also related to work. They want to improve their resume for earn more money. So I'd like to know like the difference between like both, like MBA and a master's related to work, not academic, and if they can find this on the website of the institution.
Yeah, that's a great question. So all of our master's programs, MBA, as well as MS in Finance, MS in Marketing Analytics, are all professional focused programs. So their goal is to prepare students for career. They don't include research, thesis, and that's not the focus. Certainly, students could continue on into a PhD and decide to go that route after finishing one of our master's programs, but our goal is to prepare students to get amazing jobs and move up in their career, change to a new career, whatever it might be. And even in our PhD programs, a lot of our graduates end up going back into industry after graduation rather than staying in academia. So it's our main emphasis and focus is preparing students for careers. MBA is going to be more broad. So if students are kind of wanting to keep their options open, so to speak, and have kind of a full range of preparation across marketing, accounting, strategic management, supply chain, then we recommend an MBA because it's more broad. It's not as deep into each content area as a specialized master's would, but it's giving students a full curriculum across all different areas of business. Whereas one of the specialized masters they're only going to be taking classes in finance, for example, if they're MS in finance, or in marketing, if they're in the MS in marketing analytics. So you go much more deep into one subject area versus being more broad with an MBA.
Oh, okay. So it's very helpful. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thank you for that wonderful question. I see another hand raised from Kayo. I hope I pronounced that correctly. Please feel free to unmute, Kayo, and ask your question.
Caio, fica à vontade para perguntar sua pergunta, Caio.
Okay. Mrs. Claire, what if you invite me for an interview? Which questions would you ask to me?
Good question. So at Stewart School of Business, we don't have an interview process. That's part of our MBA or specialized master's application process. So you won't participate in an interview with us when you're applying for admission, but you might for other business schools. So that's certainly a good question to ask any other business schools you might be applying to. I did work previously at a different business school that did require an interview, and we would ask a lot of questions related to a candidate's previous work experience. So, give us an example of a time you worked through a difficult conflict with a colleague. So kind of your standard interview questions, like if you were interviewing for a job. We'd also ask, what makes you excited about our MBA program? So I would kind of prepare for it as you would for any sort of job interview. So make sure to do your research about that business school and what makes it unique and what makes you excited about it. But for the purposes of Stewart School of Business, we not require an interview. So you won't need to do that to apply to our business programs.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Other questions?
We did have a couple of students here who were interested in undergrad, so I see that they stayed and listened to the session as well, so thank you guys. And still, if you have questions, you can still reach out to me, even if you're interested in undergrad. I believe that some of the information that Claire gave you can also benefit from it, but you are welcome to connect with us too.
Yeah, and I'll add in that the Stewart School of Business does have undergraduate business programs, so bachelor's in business, bachelor's in finance, and our undergraduate students are also able to attend events with the Career Management Center, meet with our academic advisors, so they still have access to the same resources and experience as our master's students. They're just obviously at a different academic level compared to our master's students.
Yes, thank you. Do we have any more questions from students or Education USA?
I have a question. Claire, thank you so much for the great presentation. Some schools, as Illinois, don't require the GMAT or GRE test, but if the student takes the test and has a good score, does admissions count that? Is it a positive thing, or is it really not required? It's test optional.
It is fully test optional, so there's no requirement to submit GRE or GMAT scores, but having a strong score is always going to look good to the faculty when they're reviewing a candidate for admission. And what I recommend to students, if they're considering to take the GRE or GMAT, even if it's optional, is what their record was for undergrad. If they have, a lower GPA, didn't do as well academically in some classes as they would have liked, then it can be a good idea to submit a strong GRE or GMAT score to sort of counterbalance or outweigh a lower GPA. But if academics are strong during undergrad, work experience is strong, then there's really no pressing reason to take the GRE or GMAT, because that does take a lot of time, takes money. And while, of course, a strong score always looks nice within a candidate's application and documents, it's not it's not going to automatically lead to greater chance of admission or higher scholarship. But the one area where it does make a difference is, again, if that GPA is lower and if academics during undergrad were a bit weaker. And then that's when it can really make a difference with admission decisions.
Okay, thank you.
Any more questions? I think that we are good. I don't see any more questions either.
Well, thank you again, everyone. Please stay in touch with us, and I appreciate you on a Tuesday evening when I'm sure there's all sorts of other things to do that you